back with a new video, and today I'll be going over how strong Dabura is from JJK Modulo and why he is the strongest character in all of JJK, and it's not even close. If you're not caught up already, which you should be because Modulo is peak, Dabura is a Sumerian warrior from outer space. In Dabura's next appearance, excluding the fact when he was sitting on the throne in the first chapter of Modulo, we are presented with the narrative that he is on par with Sukuna. And now this isn't a one-off statement, as it's stated multiple times that he's on par with Sukuna. Now, however, people like to say that this statement's in reference to the alien invasion as a whole and not just Dabura, but that's blatantly false, as when they witness Dabura for the first time, they point out that he is the reason why the alien invasion is noted as a Sukuna level threat. People also like to say that, okay, how can they make this statement if they have no basis on Sukuna? Well, there's multiple issues with that. The first issue is that they have records of what Sukuna did when he was alive. And not only do they have the Gojo vs Sukuna fight recorded, we know in JJK you can also sense reinforcement. So at the bare minimum, base Dabura would have to be, in terms of reinforcement and his potency with his curse technique, they would all have to be on par with Sukuna. And now that we have established that base Dabura is equal to Sukuna, we now need to move on to the next part of this, video, which is going into the juicier parts of Dabura scaling, which is when he fights Maharaga. In this fight with Maharaga, we are introduced to Dabura's curse technique, which is pretty much murderous intent, and Light, with his murderous intent, because that's how they really explain the ability, he's able to give Light a tangible form. And with this materialization of this Light, he's able to pierce opponents. The range of his curse technique is very wide. It's also very encapsulating because he can change how wide the attack is as well. We see this multiple times throughout the fight, as when he's perception blitzing Maharaga, he's obliterating his upper half, obliterating his arms, piercing through his skin. It's just very well apparent how versatile Dabura is with his ability. So Maharaga is essentially getting beat up badly by Dabura's light attacks, which are going relativistic to light speed. And the reason why I mentioned relativistic just now is because people have a lot of issues with it. Not a lot of issues, but it's just the fact that people argue that he applies mass to the light, so therefore it gets rid of the idea that it's being light speed. So I just mentioned light speed and relativistic just to make it simpler, because both of those things are things that nobody else in JJK has ever reached in terms of speed. And I've noticed that a lot of people try to use Dabura quote-unquote losing to Maharaga as some anti-feast to suggest that he really isn't a Sukuna level threat, and I'm here to tell you that that is the stupidest thing that they can ever say. The reason why I think it's extremely stupid is because when you look at the context of that whole scene, first, when he realizes his attack doesn't work, he gets off guarded by that, and that's where he gets the first hit. Later, right after that, he's mental nerfed because he's just going through his backstory, and like, he's not a warrior, he's never experienced this before, so he's just faltering. He had mental instability. And then, when Dabura gains that mental resolve, he immediately catches Maharaga's hand, destroys the sword, and then Maharaga just steps back. This now brings me to an even crazier point. After Dabura does this, it's noted that he'll fight seriously, and he's gonna amp his reinforcement all the way up to his utmost limit, which implicates that the Dabura we've been seeing, like up to this point, was a holding back Dabura. And that's not even the craziest thing, because Dabura is stated by the narrator to go beyond the limits of mankind in terms of speed, because he's amping his speed way beyond the threshold of the verse. And y'all can sit here debating whether Dabura literally goes light speed here, but at the very least, he's going relativistic. He's talking about how he's getting closer and closer and closer, and then he gets close to light. And that's the most apparent relativistic ever. And even if you were to denounce that, like you were to disregard that, whatever, this statement puts any JJK character speed below Dabura, meaning that anything they're going, Dabura is going way faster than that. And I want you guys to think about this for a sec. In JJK, it's already stated that power is weight times speed. So imagine Dabura, who's one of the fastest that any character in JJK has ever gone before. He runs at you and kicks you with that built up speed. What do you think is going to happen to any character that takes that kick? And we're not even done. Like, this isn't even the end. After Dabura does the kick, his leg is destroyed, and he was about to cut it off until he remembered that sorcerers can heal. He doesn't know how they heal, he doesn't know the method, but he's like, how can I heal my leg? What are they doing? He felt the energy from Maharaga's sword, and then came to the conclusion that, yo, this energy can heal the leg. And then boom, he seals the leg. I don't think y'all understand just how crazy of a feat this is, because every single person that has learned RCT already had knowledge of RCT, or already observed it, or just both. Dabura was running off just straight nothing. All he was running off was, oh yeah, they can heal. Oh yeah, there's a different energy over here. Boom, RCT. And to be expected, he takes that RCT, like that positive energy, and then just inputs it into his CT, and as a result makes the curse technique reversal, which is, purely offensive. And based off the narrative, we know that your curse technique reversal is 2 times stronger than the base CT. So now think about this. Dabura's CT, like at a basic level, is already on par with Suguna. So imagine his reversal, which should be 2 times stronger than the light. What do you think is going to happen to any character in JJK when they take that darkness to the face? Dabura also has a domain too. Yeah, he figured that out on the fly. I think everyone knows that he's figured that out similar to the RCT, just barely any basis. Now, you can sit here and argue and debate whether his domain refinement is on par with Gojo and Suguna, even though I do think it is on par, if not better, based off how Gojo explained the compatibility and refinement with domains. That's a whole nother discussion for a different time. Because me personally, I don't think Dabura even needs it. He doesn't need the domain. Now, people try to debunk the arguments by bringing up, oh, well, even if Dabura could go this speed, he's gonna burn up his body and then it's not gonna be usable. And I think that's really stupid. One, that presupposes that he's just gonna miss completely. And two, even if we were serious with that argument, it wouldn't even apply anymore because Dabura has RCT. So the whole injury segment doesn't even work. Like, he can just keep regenerating his limbs and just keep trying it. Another stupid debunk people try bringing up is, oh, well, Dabura can't perceive what's happening. Not only can you not prove this, but he was literally shown that, like, yeah, he understood what was happening and like what was happening around him as well. So I'm confused on where this came from. Like, you're telling me he can't keep up? His perception can't keep up with his travel speed? What? So, besides from those trash-ass debunks, how does Dabura really compare to the verse? Well, if it wasn't obvious enough, it's literally not even close. Like, Dabura, with just his base light CT, is literally blitzing or perception blitzing every single character in the verse. Like, they're not gonna process what happened. They're gonna get obliterated and they're just gonna wake up straight in heaven or hell. Like, it's not close. And his physical speed is just as bad because his physical speed is faster than JJK's speed threshold, like way faster. So the moment they try fighting him, he's not only dodging their attacks, he's gonna one-shot them with his kick. They're gonna feel straight power from that speed, and there's gonna be nothing left. It's like what happened to Maharaga. I said there's gonna be nothing left, straight particles. That's all. And if you want to just double down on it, I mean, like, he just uses darkness and that just also obliterates them. So it's literally a lose either way. And people over here talking about Modulo Yuji's gonna beat Dabura. With what scaling? This dude got no good feats. He got no good narrative. Quite literally, his narrative that people using that puts him over Dabura is just one statement where he's talking about how like, oh, he's gonna deal with the mess after like Yuka dies or like everyone's like done. And I'm like, how does that prove he's gonna beat Dabura? Like, how's that like an actual thing that's gonna happen? Because we all know JJK be infamous for them saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna win. And next thing you know, they ended up losing. Y'all should learn y'all lesson. And I'm also not gonna sit here and say that like no one that's ever said they're gonna win like ends up like losing. But I'm just saying that it's using those type of statements is not necessarily definitive. Finally, the biggest of them all, Gojo. People be wondering how is Dabura going to pass Infinity? Well, it's really simple. Dabura has access to the black robe, so he can just nullify Infinity and just kill him. Or two, you want to go the longer route and more draining route and just argue that Infinity is dictated on his perception, meaning that if you perception blitz Gojo, then he's like Infinity's not gonna matter. He's gonna get blitzed and destroyed, which Dabura is certainly capable of doing. So, in conclusion, Dabura is the strongest character in all of JJK's history. He's also the greatest talent in the entirety of the verse, and absolutely no one comes close to him in a fight at all. Like, I don't know how this is even a conversation. Like, I generally don't know how you read this story and then somehow just get the conclusion that Dabura isn't the strongest. Like, bro. I'll see y'all next video, bro.